Finding is costume jewelry, and all you're doing is putting your creativity into it. Next is like the more powerful the stories uh, are, and when they're paired with great pictures, it's going to raise the bidding, like you just saw in that one example. And the more creative you are with auction elements, such as like you saw, notice that one auction started with some music. They have a black background. It would just look kind of spiritual. The more creative you are with all that, the higher it's going to sell. And then you want to research what other similar sellers are doing with their auctions with high bid counts. For instance, we went to this one, and why I chose this one is because when I was searching through eBay and I was looking at the ones that have a highest price, I'm choosing ones with high bid counts. Like this one is a genie ring. Okay, it has a high bid count. This means there's a lot of people interested in this ring. They're paying for a border around their auction. They're paying to have it highlighted. They're paying to have the title bolded, and they have an enlarged picture here, which they're paying extra for. These are all additional items that they're doing on eBay, and this is stuff you want to take notes on, because whatever they're doing it right, because they're getting people bidding on their items. So if we click on it and look at this person, and you can look at their feedback, it's 100% positive, which is phenomenal. They have over 1,400 feedback points, and they're selling genie rings, haunted genie rings. So if you scroll down some more, and you see, I mean, these pages, they might look a little outrageous to you, and they might look a little kind of from the 80s, because, I mean, these people, they don't put a lot of work into their auctions because they don't have the creativity, or they don't have the knowledge to make pretty auctions. I mean, their auctions are ugly, but they're still selling a lot of money, and you can model exactly after what they're doing because it's obviously working. So this person, if you scroll down, it's a ring, but they did all this Photoshop effect to make it look like fire's coming out of it on their background. Do you think that's real? Absolutely not. But they're just selling you even though they say no photo editing is using any of our pics, no Photoshop, no art design, you're not going to be buying a ring where fire's going to be coming out of it. I mean, there's just no way. But that's what they're saying, and this is, again, they're paying the dream for the dreamer. And they're doing all kinds of other photo effects to it. So, if you scroll down more, I mean, if you just look over here, see this scroll bar over here? Look how long of a page this is. Because they're just taking pictures over and over. They're finding a picture of some old lady, or not an old lady, but an old picture of someone, and then now they're saying, this is my great-grandmother Rosa. And so you just have to go through and see this to believe it for yourself, that people are actually selling this kind of stuff on eBay. And how I came across this was because I personally have an aunt that is into witchcraft, and I'm not really all for that. I don't really believe in it, but she found out about all this stuff on eBay, and she showed me, and she said, Mac, do you have any knowledge with this kind of stuff? I said, no, actually, let me look into it. Well, then I started looking in and seeing how much some of the stuff was going for, and I noticed that it was costume jewelry. It didn't look like anything special, so I went and bought some costume jewelry, threw a lot on eBay for $19, and I turned around and started selling it. And yeah, I mean, this is as real as it gets. This really happens. That's why I'm creating this quick money blueprint for you. So now that you understand pricing potential, next is once you actually sell the item, then there's customer satisfaction. With customer satisfaction, if you want this business to be long term, you need satisfied customers. And once a sale is made, you simply want to follow up with the customer through email. You want to compliment them on acquiring the blessings of the magical item, all that kind of stuff. You want to urge them to follow directions that accompany the item. And for instructions, you can just go out there and find rituals, yoga poses, or prayers that can strengthen the mind, and you put all that together, and again, you're just putting all these little pieces to the puzzle and all these elements to paint a better dream for the dreamer, and then you give it to them. And you can find all this just by typing in like ring rituals on Google and find out what other people out there are saying. You want to give your customer a sense of protection and care too, by just letting them know that you're always around. If they ever need any help, let you know. And you can use online sources to come up with all these, like I just mentioned, in a creative set of instructions. And then last with customer satisfaction is that you always want to ask the new customer if they'd like to exchange positive feedback, because all of this is based on with getting really high high number of bids and getting the price really high, is to have people believe in you by having positive feedback, because they're going to look at your positive feedback and see what other people are saying about the items that you're selling. So definitely ask for positive feedback. So that's customer satisfaction. Next is establishing presence. For this, you simply want to focus on a brand in the marketplace. And I already mentioned with having an eBay account name, you want the name to be represent whatever it is that you're going to be selling. If you only want to focus on magical rings, well then have your eBay name be something like Magical Ring, Princess, or Magical Ring Warlock, or Magical Ring, Magical Rings Online, or something like that, because then people know that that's all you specialize in is magical rings, and you're going to sell a lot more than anyone else out there. Next is you want to get into other auction sites like ubid.com, and there's a whole lot of other eBay knockoffs out there that still have just as much traction as eBay on these type of items. You want to explain to people how you acquired the item. If you remember on this last one we were looking at here that had the picture of that lady, and it said that was the person's grandmother, even though we probably know that's not real. Well, if you read this, they're explaining right here the story behind the ring. So that's how they acquired it. So you definitely want to explain how you got the ring in the first place. Then you want to mention, the ancestral links like the grandmother, or aunt or uncle or great grandmother or whatever in the countries that you visited. I misspelled things here. I'm really sorry. Only human. But the countries that you visit, etc. Because a lot of these people, they say, "Oh, I've been to all these countries. I've visited all these tribes, and I've collected all these magical items over the past number of years, visiting countries and tribes, and now I'm selling them on eBay." That kind of stuff is what really paints the dream for the dreamer. Next is you want to give them, just a philosophy about magic. Let them know, like, what's your philosophy about magic? What influences you to have these items? Why are you selling them on eBay? The more you can, tell people about your history and why you're here and why you're doing this, the better off it's going to be for you and the more money you're going to make. And then you want to spy on other top sellers and see how they're presenting themselves. And you can do that by how I just came across this guy with the high number of bids. Well, then I can go back to the top of this auction here, and then I can click on, where is this? View sellers' items. I can actually view a list of their other items. And when you do this, you can see all the other items that they're selling. And this person has another that he's selling some kind of bead, just a single bead that says it has spells in it, and that's 5 bids, $4. So you can see some of that, just what they're doing, and then you can model after what they're doing that looks like that they're having the most success with. Okay, so that's spying on other top sellers. And then last is you simply want to know your customer base and offer products that tailor to them. Like if you're a female and you're only wanting to target women, then make your name a little more feminine and make all your auctions to be more targeted towards females. Or if you only want to do rings, make your auctions, have a nice flow with each auction and make it all based around rings. Don't try to sell rings and then spells and then yoga poses or haunted spells or magic, or that you're going to cast a spell on somebody. Don't offer all this random